We are live. What's up, three dudes in a football? I'm Adam.
I'm Miles.
I'm Mike. No direction.
They see, anybody that actually listens to this, they don't see us broadcasting this. So, y'all are missing all the cool, funny things that we're doing with our hands and pointing at each other and stuff. Yay. Anyways,
I don't know what to do with my hands.
we're going to get right into the playoffs that just happened this past weekend. We had the Colts in Buffalo. We had Washington and wait, hold on. Give me a second. Oh, yeah, no. Tampa was in Washington. The Rams were in Seattle. Chicago at the Saints. Cleveland in Pittsburgh. And Baltimore at Tennessee. Dude, honestly, I thought one of the best games was the Colts. Not the best game, but one of the better games was the Colts and the Bills. Dude, the Colts, they gave them a run for their money, dude.
They stayed with them the whole way.
They really did. And, it was a much closer game than I think anybody really expected. What was the final score? 24-7? Bills?
24-27 Bills, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a damn good game. But Josh Allen is on fire, dude. Josh Allen is playing the best football he's played so far.
Yeah. Stage isn't too big for him yet. I mean, that's something else. I mean, a guy that young and all of a sudden for him to be trending this far upward. I mean, you kind of look for him in the wild card to maybe fall off a little bit or have kind of like that Lamar Jackson couple years where you can win a playoff game. He walked right into it, man, like chest out, ready to go.
Yes.
Well, after his dismal performance last year, he had something to prove because he made a lot of bad decisions last year in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and
I remember.
I want to say that he came in hotter into this playoffs than he did last year. Is that fair to say?
I think so. But their team as a unit, maybe. Well, yeah, all of them, all of it.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
So, I mean, yeah, I was really impressed with him. And, I mean, he's on a hot streak just like I think everybody that's made it past this first round, all the quarterbacks are on a hot streak. I mean, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, believe it or not, he's on a hot streak. So that leaves
just about everybody who advanced. I mean, you look at all the quarterbacks that made it, and I mean, you could say that about all 12 guys that are playing that played this last week.
No, you cannot. you cannot say that. You cannot say that about Jared Goff.
But he won.
Yeah, they sure did.
Yeah, he was hurt, and he came back in with a broken thumb. That guy got laid out.
Dude, he had surgery 12 days prior to playing on Sunday. That's because dude went out with it looked like he broke his neck or shoulder right there, but I guess nothing happened to him. He ended up coming back celebrating with them.
Yeah,
but dude, he left it in an ambulance, and they didn't say shit until he was rolling out of there in an ambulance. I mean, he walked back there, no problem.
Dude, I was so surprised at that game. I know we all sat here and we just kind of like, we're not going to spend any time on the game. That's going to be the Seahawks winning. Mm-hmm. And we just missed it. And I couldn't believe Seattle played so far down to them. Look, I will say on that game, I know that that's not really the direction we were going, but on that game, Rams defense looked really good. They had guys, Jalen Ramsey had like probably one of the best games I've seen a cornerback have in a playoff game. And one can argue that he really won that for him because Seattle couldn't mount any kind of a comeback. You were expecting them to catch fire, and they couldn't because they couldn't get to any of the receivers. And then the other guy that ran the pick six back, I mean, really, that was a momentum killer. That pretty much sealed it. It just had 2 quarters left to play out after that.
That's why I said, next week it's going to be, I put in a message to both of y'all talking about, the Packers against the Rams. And I changed my message. I was like, really it's Ramsey against Devontae Adams. Mm-hmm. Because Ramsey shut down DK Metcalf, and he has been all year. He caught 4 balls against Ramsey the entire year, including the playoffs. He's caught 4 balls against Ramsey. Ramsey's got his number.
3 games?
Huh? Yeah, 3 games. Yep.
Metcalf had 2 touchdowns in this last game, though.
DK Metcalf had 2 touchdowns? Mm-hmm. I didn't watch it. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Wait a second. That goes against everything I was just saying.
No,
Sorry.
still though, he made it difficult. I watched what I watched of Ramsey. Wherever he was moving around, like he was making plays left and right.
Yes.
And then they all kind of fed off of him.
Yes. Their defense was stellar, nonetheless. But yeah, DK Metcalf was the only shining star for that entire team. Everybody else looked out of sorts, man. And I wouldn't, I don't know what happened this past weekend while I'm saying out of sorts, because I felt like every game, the losing team was just out of sorts, man, including the Titans. They looked like crazy, like shit. And the only, like we just said, the Colts and the Bills were the only game that was really a good game, I guess. I will give it up to the Buccaneers and the Redskins, because I thought they put up a hell of a fight for what they were. But as far as like just competitors on the field looking equal, it was Bills and Colts, and the rest of it was lame ducks.
No, I disagree with you. I'm going to disagree with both of y'all tonight. No, dude, that Washington, the Washington game against the Bucs, that was a hell of a game.
I mean, for what it was, it was David and Goliath style, I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't a shootout necessarily.
I think everybody really wanted to root for that Heineke kid because he really played. He was fun to watch. He kind of seemed like he kind of had this young Brett Favre, kind of poor man's Brett Favre sort of attitude about him. It made it really easy to kind of get behind him. And I don't think anybody really wants Tom Brady to win any more playoff games. I probably said it about a dozen times this year. I still feel the same way. So it would have been a really cool story. And I think a lot of people, when they don't have a vested interest and there's no fantasy football in the wild card, they're going to pull for the good story. And it was closer than I honestly thought it would have been. I'll agree with you a little bit on that.
Yes.
All right, so here are the Ramsey versus Metcalf in the three matchups this season's 4 receptions, 44 yards on 11 total targets. Jalen Ramsey shadowed DK Metcalf on 69% of his routes this past Sunday, which were 22 of 31, limiting Metcalf to only 3 receptions for 33 yards on 7 targets. So,
where are you getting this from, man? Because I'm looking at box scores and I'm seeing 5 for 96 and 2 touchdowns.
Yes, and so, but my point is 3 of those receptions is only when Jalen Ramsey was covering him. He wasn't covering him. Those other receptions is what I'm getting at.
Gotcha.
When Ramsey was on Metcalf, he got 3 receptions for 11 yards. 3 receptions for 33 yards.
Yeah.
But for the whole season, anytime Ramsey was on Metcalf, he got 4 receptions, 44 yards on 11 targets total.
He's a badass, Jalen Ramsey. There's no doubt in that.
I mean, he's going to have to be all over Devontae Adams the entire game. But even still, I don't think the Rams defense can pull it off, simply because I don't know if their damn offense can pull it off.
Yes.
Dude, that was shady as shit with the way they were playing the other night.
Yes, I agree with that. I don't see what offense. Like Cooper Kupp had a couple of nice moments, but
did he get hurt right on his way out? Isn't he hurt now?
I don't know what his status is now. I don't know what Aaron Donald's status is now.
Oh, I know. No shit.
So they've got some injuries they're dealing with, and I don't think they have a third string quarterback. If Goff were to have any more suffering,
no, they don't. Matter of fact, I don't think of Washington, because Washington almost got put down to there.
Yeah. So the Rams are kind of hobbling into the second round of playoffs, and I don't know, man. If their defense can score them a couple touchdowns, but against Aaron Rodgers, it's unlikely they're going to have 2 interceptions or even 1 for a touchdown, especially.
I agree. I mean, it's just going to be too much. I think the Packers are really sneaky good this year. It's exactly because of Devontae Adams. And, I've seen – he's been on a tear this whole second half of the season, really for the whole season. He's so unreal. I mean, the way he's been playing, the guy just – it doesn't matter who covers him. They double cover him. They bracket him. And he still is able – he's such a precise route runner. I'd probably say he's like in the top 2 or 3 route runners in the entire league. Because bad weather, double coverage, he's still able to get open and put up these gaudy numbers. I mean, Dude, Adam, I remember playing you in fantasy one week this year, and you had him, and I'm thinking, like, dude, the matchup, there's no way he's going to do anything. Like, and he ended up putting up a shitload of points.
Yeah.
So, with Ramsey on him,
Hey, Miles, are you hearing him just fine?
Yes.
Okay, I'm getting like really bad breakup on Mike.
Oh, sorry, man. I'll just continue on.
Yeah, it must be my internet or something. I'm sorry I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No, man. Thought I was talking to.
I thought I lost you.
Yeah, I told you I'm fried tonight. I know it wasn't funny. Anyway, so so Ramsey and Adams is going to decide the game because I don't think the Rams have a prayer on offense either. I mean, they're going to have to win like a 10-9 ball game. I don't see it.
Well, Cam Akers actually, I thought, had a good game. You know, he shows spark of life, you know, during that game. So, I mean, maybe because he was hurt for the past few weeks before going into the playoffs, wasn't he? He's been hurt a lot of the – because I was thinking
that's all they really have on offense. I mean, everything plays off the run with their offense. And, I mean, that people are starting to figure it out. They just bottle him up, and then the Rams can't score.
Yep.
All right. So you got Green Bay then? Everybody taking Green Bay on that one?
Yeah.
So I tell you what, I'm pretty happy about because I called that game. I called the Rams to win that game.
You did?
Against Seattle. So, yep. So, matter of fact, why don't we go over that real quick while we're on it? No, I mean, I lost. Some of the ones I lost, it sucked. The only game that we all picked to win was the Buffalo Colts game, which, hell, that ended up being closer than some of the other games.
Yeah, I know.
I know, that's funny.
Oh, I got the Ravens, and you guys chose the Titans.
Yeah. We went with our heart. We went with our heart, Miles. We voted with our heart.
I know.
First quarter, man, it seemed like they had a chance. They went away from what they were doing, and they didn't have a chance anymore. I don't know why. I mean, and I get that they tried to force Derrick Henry to get going. It's what you have to do. You have to try to get him some traction and kind of play to your strengths. But, you know, as they continued to bottle him up, as it was completely clear that they were not going to let Derrick Henry beat them no matter what. They were selling out 7, 8, 9 guys in the box. I counted it sometimes to stop the run. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, like, this is perfect. Just throw the ball. You're going to get a one-on-one. 9 guys in the box, even if one guy's covering. He's going to be behind, and he's not going to be able to make a play on the ball if you throw it right. And they wouldn't threaten downfield. And when they did try to pass the ball, they were hitting the guys that are 3, 4, and 5 on the depth chart. I mean, it wasn't A.J. Brown anymore. They went so completely away from him when he was the one bright spot in that first quarter when they got up 10-0.
Yeah, I was really confused by that myself. Like, it just seemed like they threw their game plan out the window from games past. If they couldn't get him, I mean, Henry had 18 carries, and we all know the rule, 25 or more. But which is an issue. But like you said, they were bottling him up like crazy. But man, why was Tannehill not allowed to throw more than 10 yards down the field?
I don't know. It's all these outbreaking things and crossing routes. But, I mean, the guys he was throwing to, again, I mean, A.J. Brown on a crossing route is as dangerous as Tyreek Hill down the field. You know, he can turn it up, and he can win those plays to where he can get 40, 50, and chunk yards and those types of things. Yep. But, man, these other guys, I mean, they're not possession guys. They're not going to catch the ball and get the yards after catch, and he was throwing to them anyway. They shut down everybody.
It was pitiful. I just thought the effort was not there. I feel like Derrick Henry felt the same way. He was cussing on the sidelines. He was pissed. I don't know what.
Well, see, a lot of it has to do, I know they had that earlier matchup this season, but they also had to, they had a couple of linemen out for Baltimore's defense when we played them last time. Those guys weren't out this time. So
yeah, they got healthy at the right time. Baltimore did.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they came in with a chip on their shoulder. They were pissed off. They had something to prove, especially to Tennessee, because not only did we put them out of the playoffs last year, but we stole a victory from them earlier this year. Yeah. So I mean, I really think Lamar could be on the road to getting some wins in that he's never had before, such as his first playoff win. Yeah, that just happened. Now he's going to go to
Buffalo. Buffalo.
What do y'all think about that one?
It's an interesting game. I can't call it with conviction. I really can't. I think I'd like to see Buffalo pull through. I'm sure you guys have similar sentiment on that, but I don't know, man. Lamar looks like he's really matured in the past half a dozen games or so. Or less actually. He's done very well. He's come out there. He's made decent decisions. The ball is getting where it needs to go. It's not 10 yards in front of their receiver. So I don't know, really. I can't say it's going to be good. I think I know that much. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Well, see, here's something that bothered me about this game this past weekend against Tennessee. So, a bunch of local guys here talk on the radio, and they were bitching about Tannehill. Like, he didn't even get 200 yards passing and all this other shit. Well, you know what? Neither did Lamar. Lamar Jackson didn't get 200 yards passing, but he did get 136 rushing.
Yep.
And that's what won them the game, was the rushing. And that's what lost us the game. Oh, he absolutely was, dude. Because we did pretty decent as far as coverage goes. I was kind of impressed by that because, let's face it, we have sucked dick at that all year. It has been terrible. Yeah. But, and we've, like I said last week, dude, we've got the third down efficiency, the absolute worst third down efficiency since they started keeping up with that stat. So, that tells you right there.
I feel like, and Adam, I talked to you about this a couple of days ago. I feel even more resolute in the fact that they did not make adjustments to this game. The Titans didn't. Nope. But the Ravens did. Yes. The Ravens started figuring out what wasn't working. It was the passing game. They figured, okay, we'll have to throw the ball to keep them honest, but we're going to slink back into this rushing mode, and that's how we're going to win the game. And they just kind of pounded on us. They started, picking up the first downs because, again, that's the Titans' Achilles heel is third down. But, as they were trying to keep Lamar Jackson from getting outside the pocket, he started figuring it out. And he started figuring out that the guys rushing the quarterback weren't rushing to get there. They were setting the edges. So he started looking for these lanes in the middle. And the first big break-off run that he made, it was coming straight up through the middle. He just kind of dropped back and then shot up between the guard and the tackle. And he was gone like 50, 60 yards. And then he started doing it pretty regularly. And they couldn't stop it because he realized once he got through the line, the only guy left that was there, everybody else is out in coverage or on the edge. It was just him and a safety. And it didn't matter if it was Byard or whoever it was. He was just crossing him up and he was gone. They couldn't catch him. So I think based on that, if he's able to make those adjustments in game next week, I think they're the one team, including Kansas City, that could beat Buffalo in the AFC side of it. I think I would give Baltimore the edge because if it's cold, if the weather's bad, if they really get into a shootout, the team that's going to be able to keep Josh Allen off the field is going to have a better chance. And that's how you do it, running the ball.
Yeah.
Well, you see, here's the thing. Like, to me, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, they're kind of one of the same.
They're both ice cream, a little bit different flavor, but yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Josh Allen has a better arm.
Yes.
And more accurate and better receivers at this point.
Yes.
See, the thing about Lamar, he wants to be a passer. He's a great passer. There's no doubt about that. But he's a run quarterback. Whereas Josh Allen, he's definitely a passing quarterback who can actually run.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at, is that, Lamar is run first and then pass, if there's no run lanes there. And Josh Allen is pass first. And if you're going to go man-to-man down the field, I'm going to take off on you.
Yep.
I think, though, you can't rule out the Diggs equation because it's very much like the Adams equation for Green Bay. This son of a bitch can catch the ball whenever and wherever. And I don't think it matters what's happening as far as climate. He's going to be able to do what he needs to do. And we'll see. But I agree with you 100% on not being able to bottle up Lamar Jackson. But I don't know. I guess I'm going to go with the Bills right now. I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the Bills. I'm going to say that right now.
I'm going with the Bills too.
Yeah, I'm taking Ravens. Just a hunch, and I hate the Ravens. I wish they.
I do too. I hate them too. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I just thought we were talking about shit that we hate. Yeah, Baltimore and Pittsburgh is one. Give me 1 second. I gotta grab something.
I just think that the Bills have a smarter presence on defense. Maybe. They're not great. Like, they've been better in years past, but I think that they can figure something out where the Titans weren't able to against Lamar. That's my hope.
No, I agree, and they've got more depth on defense, and
Yes.
they've got a little bit of a pass rush, and that's really. I mean, you got to have the thing about a team that runs the ball as much as Baltimore, as they keep your defense on the field. Those guys start to wear down and get tired, and I think the Bills, from what I've seen this year, they've got enough guys that can rotate in and out, and that you don't really have that big a drop off. But it's really hard to tell. I mean, he's such a wild card, man. I mean, Lamar Jackson could really go in there and lay a
So
duck just
Miles
as
got
easily.
Buffalo,
Beat him down, yeah.
and
it's bizarre to me that they have been as successful as they are, though, because he is literally a one-man show. Like, there is every other game, every third game, they might get a rusher with 100 yards, maybe. But it's other than that, it's him, man. That's it. I mean, there is not a single other player other than Mark Andrews. It's like, that
Come on, there's Des Bryant.
I mean, Marquis Brown got over 100 yards this last game, but it's like that's just
a lot of analysis are talking about him having to break out playoffs. They're saying that he's going to be the silent killer of everyone in the playoffs. Is Brown? What's that?
He's done it before now. You know, he reminds me of Michael Crabtree, a guy with a lot of talent that just kind of appears and disappears at random. But he's never enough consistently that you can really say he's a great receiver. He's like a good receiver. He's like, the one guy that you can name, that anybody can name on that receiving core, but I don't think that he's going to catch fire. I think he would have already done it.
Right. That's fair. So let's move on then. Let's just go right to the other AFC matchup, Cleveland. All right, before we get into the pick, let's talk about the Cleveland at Pittsburgh, another game that I called. Thank you very much.
You did.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable. Like, I bet so many people lost money on that game, man. Oh my God.
I bet.
What a damn ass whooping.
It was 28-0 in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
28-0.
In the first quarter, not the first half, the first quarter.
Yes.
They started throwing hints like they were going to come back, and then they couldn't, man. It was like Pittsburgh was so overmatched all of a sudden. The team that they played last week.
Yeah, they literally played last week and rested players and were healthier this go around, with Cleveland not only missing players, defensive linemen, they were missing coaching staff. They didn't have a head coach.
I'm going to pull a full Dennis Green. They are who we thought they were.
Yeah.
You called it. You've been calling it all year. You said Pittsburgh's fake gold. They're not going to make it. They're going to get bumped out the first round. Dude, you should have bet the house on it, man. You'd be the richest man on the block.
Yep. Yeah, the odds were really stacked against Cleveland on the betting, man. I think they were like, you could have almost tripled your money.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yep.
That is.
I know. I couldn't believe how much Pittsburgh was favored at either. But man, I think there was there 3 defensive touchdowns in that, or at least I know there was 2. It was just a clinic. And I can't say with faith that they're going to do that to the Kansas City Chiefs, but I feel like they're going to give them a hell of a match, man. I feel like that it's not going to be what everybody thinks it might be, that Kansas City is just going to come in there and do what they like. I don't think that's going to happen. Or
Cleveland's going to be a tough out.
Yeah, I hope that it's a shootout, man. I hope that it's touchdown for touchdown the whole time, because I don't like defense.
That'd be cool. What's it? Somebody put on a website earlier this week that Mahomes and Mayfield, they had that one Red River shootout or whatever it's called in college. Like they were on opposing teams. It was like 66-59 or something was the final score. So it's kind of the rematch of that for what it's worth. I don't really believe that those things have a lot of bearing, but it's kind of fun to talk about.
Yeah,
that is a terrible name for a game, man. That is like, there's so many things wrong with what you just said about the Red River. What was it? The shootout on the Red River. No, that is horrible, dude. That sounds like a powder. No, gosh, I'm not going to get into that.
They name shit. They name everything.
Oh, it's Texas
and Oklahoma. Is that right? Is that who they put? Or
Texas, Oklahoma. Yeah, that's terrible. All right, so I had three wins. Miles had 3 wins. Mike, you had 2.
Ooh.
Surprised I had that. So thank
So
you.
I was 3 for 6. Miles 3 for 6. Miles, I mean, Mike, you were 2 for 6. Not bad.
No.
So as far as Cleveland now, Juju Smith and Chase Claypool have all come out talking shit, saying that Cleveland's still going to get their ass whooped next year. I mean, excuse me, next week, and just still talking mad shit when no one's even asked them. No one's asked them.
No.
No one's asked for their opinion. They just posted this stuff on Twitter to their accounts and stuff like, "Oh, Cleveland's still going to get beat. It don't matter." Like, dude, they put your ass out, and old Ben was on the sideline crying. And dude, I don't think he's going to be back next year. If he is, he's going to be making a lot less money.
Oh man,
He's slated to make $41 million next year. $41 million.
That's his cap number. He's not going to make that much, but yeah, that is his cap number, which means the team has to reserve that much. And I don't see them doing that, man. I don't see there any scenario they do that.
They haven't been preparing for his departure either, have they? I mean, what did they got? The kid from Tennessee is third string, and then that other kid from second. I mean, they don't even have
That's so bad.
Nothing. I mean,
no, the kid from Tennessee ended up going to the Saints.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So
Mason Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, and what's the other guy? Duck Hodges. He played. I don't even know if he's still there. He was there the year before last.
That's right. Yeah. No, I've been. We talk about how easy they had to schedule, but man, he was putting up good numbers like the first half of the season. We can't deny that. He was doing well for he wasn't throwing these long bombs. He was playing the old quarterback man, throwing the dink and dunk, but he was getting it done. And he just fell to he's hit his wall. He's done. I think he's done.
I can't argue with that. And I think that's all that they have right now, honestly. I mean, you look at teams traditionally that have a quarterback that's aging or a veteran that winds up going to another team, and then you have this quarterback void. Those receivers that Claypool and Smith-Schuster, they're going to disappear if there's not a guy of equal caliber. I mean, I think Ben has traditionally made the receivers in Pittsburgh, with the exception of Antonio Brown. Mike Wallace really depended on Roethlisberger for the best part of his career. So many other guys that came through there, Santonio Holmes, like when they didn't have him, it was a whole different story. I mean, it was like the receivers feeding off of the quarterback. So if you look at it like that and Ben leaves, they really don't have anything. I mean, their running back situations, they're one of the worst running teams in the league this year. And they got an old offensive line. They got a lot of guys that, were in and out with injuries and stuff. I think they're on full rebuild mode. I think that they're going to have to start all over next year.
That's crazy to think they're on full rebuild mode after going, 13-3 or something like that?
Yeah, they went 11-0 and lost 4 of their 5 last. No. They how many? What did they lose? No, they had 4 losses, didn't they?
Okay, so they went 12-4.
Yeah.
Still, to think that you're rebuilding from scratch when you're 12-4.
Yeah.
I know it.
Well, I mean, they got lucky, man. They got lucky in so many games, and that they did not. That stat of 11-0 was the most misleading stat of the year. I mean, geez. But yeah, they lost 4 of their last 5 games.
Crazy.
Yep. Just like and we all called it too.
Yeah, you did, man. You were banging that drum for a long time, and it damn sure came true. They just they need more than 3 or 4 pieces to really make that team. It's not just offense; it's really both sides of the ball. And then you look at that division that they're in. Cincinnati with Joe Burrow, they can't be a punching bag forever. And then you got the Ravens, which are going to be good for a while, and then you got Cleveland, which is. I mean, they could be the top of the mountain there next year.
Yes.
I mean, the Steelers could be last in the division next year, even if they're okay.
Yep.
Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, with the fact that Cleveland had a chance with 2 or 3 games left in the season to overtake Pittsburgh.
And I thought they were going to do it. I thought they were going to do it.
But if Cleveland wouldn't have lost the second to last game, I can't remember who they lost to. It was just I couldn't believe they lost to them though. What was it? The Jets?
No, I can't remember.
The Rams lost to the Jets, and I want to say Cleveland did too.
Yeah, it was the third to last game, the 12th game, or 13th game they lost to the Jets.
All right. Yeah.
Wait, no, I'm looking at playoffs, including it was the second to last game that they lost to the Jets. Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of had of all games that you really would have thought they would have pulled that one off. But
Yeah, they had a bad COVID situation though. That's an asterisk that you got to put on there. They had
are you gonna end up having to put that on the Super Bowl championship?
shit. I don't know, man.
An asterisk? Are you going to have to do that for all the championships this year? Put an asterisk by everything, including the national championship, which I heard y'all talking about earlier before we went live.
Some people think so. I mean, there was a bunch of uproar over the NBA title going to the Lakers and stuff. And I mean, there's some people that are not happy with the way seasons have played out with all this. And I'm not one of those. I don't give a shit about putting an asterisk next to the actual game. But I mean, when you during the regular season, if you've got half your fucking team out because of COVID, or at least skilled players out, then I mean, it's like, but as far as championships go, I feel like if you win it, that's it. You've won it. There's no.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And I think also the only time anybody would really argue for that in the NFL, because I think that they've actually done a fantastic job of making sure that there are no canceled games. Stuff got rescheduled. They got played with, in enough time frame that it could still be considered that week it was supposed to be played, or the next week they swapped the games out. They've really done a good job handling it.
Yep. The
only time that I think it could be in question of, is anybody going to question the legitimacy of whoever wins the championship is if, one of these games coming up actually gets most of the roster scrubbed for COVID. Because you got to remember the teams that really sucked it this year for the COVID scares, they didn't lose a lot of games because of COVID, and also didn't lose games to the point where it put them out of the playoffs. Like, basically everybody who's in it now probably would have been in it regardless, you could say. But, if Cleveland has like some big COVID scare this coming up game, and Mayfield sits and the receiving core again and all that stuff, and then they lose to Kansas City, you'll have a lot of sour grapes. That type of stuff hopefully doesn't happen.
I hope so. I hope you're right, because they have them not missing games has almost been ruthless. Like look at the poor Broncos, man.
No, as soon as we started talking about this, that's the first thing I went to.
I mean, it's like I'm happy as a fan, but as a coach or a player, it's like, fuck, what do you got to do here? I mean, so but yeah, if that happens in the next 2 weeks, man, and you see your team just getting eaten alive just for COVID protocol, man, there's going to be a lot of irate people.
Yeah, so hopefully they can keep it together for a couple more weeks, because we're already pretty close.
Yeah, what is it? February 6th? Is that Super Bowl?
I don't know the date. I know it's always the first week of February. Yeah, it's right around there. So, yeah.
There's time. It's
the 7th. It's the 7th.
There's time where they could definitely have that affect them. What's up?
It can absolutely.
I did tease you guys. I did tease you guys and say that I have a stat. So check this out. So of the 4 NFC teams for the playoffs for this round, which are the Rams, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, and New Orleans, it's the oldest 4 starting quarterbacks ever in a conference. So you got Brady, Breeze, Goff, who's the youngest, obviously, and Aaron Rodgers. All of those quarterbacks have been to a Super Bowl, by the way, and 3 of them have won one. Go to the other side, the AFC. You have Baltimore, Buffalo, Cleveland, and Kansas City. It's the 4 youngest quarterbacks that have ever been in a conference in the playoffs at this far. And like almost none of them been to a Super Bowl except for Kansas City.
That's pretty interesting.
25 or younger.
That's pretty interesting stat there.
It is.
I will be interested to see how that plays out, because the experience usually is a big benefit to have. But I don't know. I out of all those people, the only one that really strikes a chord with me that has is Aaron Rodgers. Like I think that's just because my deep rooted hate for Tom Brady. I just won't accept that he's doing well, even though he is. But Drew Brees, I don't know, man. He's kind of like, to me, he's a better version of the way Ben Roethlisberger was this year. Yeah, he hasn't hit that hard of the wall yet, but he's kind of got one foot over it.
He's definitely climbed it. Where he's just trying to get over it at this point.
Well, and if you're Aaron Rodgers, if you don't get through this pack here, I mean, he's been close a lot of times. He's only ever been to 1 Super Bowl, right? And one. And you got to think, man, he's got to get at least another one. I mean, he's played for so long and so well for so long.
Yes.
And I mean, if he falls short this year, I think it really kind of changes his entire legacy. He kind of turns this guy who almost can never get it done. I mean, because I gotta say, I probably have mentioned this team before. The 2011 Packers were probably one of the best football teams I've ever seen. He probably had the best year of any quarterback I've ever actually seen.
Yeah.
And he was unfucking stoppable. They were 15-1. They get in the first round. They get the bye week. In the first round, they get the Giants, the Eli Manning Giants that eventually won the Super Bowl that year, the second time they beat the Patriots. And I remember that game, and they got completely throttled after they beat everybody all year long. They get in this game with this underwhelming Giants team and just got completely obliterated. And I'm like, how did they do that? They have the greatest quarterback on the planet, and he is, again, the best quarterback out of this conference.
Mm-hmm.
No questions about it. And he's got to get through this year, I think.
I agree. It would be a real big deal, or pretty sad. I don't, the weird thing about that is can you blame, you keep up with this a little probably closer than I do, but can you blame Rodgers solely for those losses like that?
Yeah.
Does he fall apart, or is it more of a coaching team effort of falling apart?
I think it's a coaching thing, honestly. I don't think it's Aaron Rodgers. I've never seen him actually really choke. He's always been, he's just as good as Brady, except for the rings. That's it.
I mean, he's had an off game, but so is Brady. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, Brady had one this year against the Saints, who he's playing again this coming up week.
No, Rodgers has had some bad bounces for sure. And I mean, he's had some other stuff go against him. But at the same time, man, I mean, all these other guys that win a lot of Super Bowls, and Brady and even Mahomes. Mahomes has really been in the mountain, almost 2 years in a row. I mean, they were in the AFC Championship a couple years ago. And you gotta think he's gonna be back a few more times. I mean, he's always like divisional round or NFC Championship game every year. It just kind of seems like he has that Donovan McNabb syndrome. Like something's gonna go wrong. They're going to fall short. He's just never going to get through, but he's always like right there,
Yeah.
And, I mean, when I said that name to you guys, what's the first thing you thought of? It's not like you don't think winner when you think Donovan McNabb. You always think about all the negatives and stuff because that's all you ever heard.
Yeah.
Every time I think about Donovan McNabb, I just think of damn. That's all. That's all my book. Damn. That sucks, dude. You got that close that many times. Damn.
Well.
Yeah.
All right, so. Y'all taking Green Bay against the Rams then?
Definitely.
Vote my conscience.
All right. I think we're all going to go with – you know what? Fuck it. I'll go Rams.
You're just wanting to go against us now.
I mean, honestly, the defense for the Rams right now, dude, they're on fire. They shut down Seattle. And I'm not saying Seattle's anything like Green Bay, but they were at the beginning of the year.
No, Seattle, I mean, to shut down Russell Wilson like they did is a statement in my mind. I agree with you 100%, but I think
they did it 2 weeks in a row.
I think Green Bay's got a better offensive line than Seattle does, which will help, I think. But
why are you shaking your head, Mike?
I can't picture a scenario where Green Bay loses this game. I can't. If they lose this game, I'm going to pick with you the rest of the year, which will be like 3 more games.
Honestly, though, I mean, I look back at their close call with the Colts. What shut them down with the Colts?
Who? Which team?
Packers.
Yeah.
They almost lost to the Colts because of their defense. And I'm sorry, I think the Rams' defense is better than the Colts is. I'm justifying it to myself. I'm going with the Rams.
But you've got to unless Aaron Rodgers just has one of these fluke days, you've got to throw up, let's say, 3 touchdowns. You got to put 3 touchdowns on the board. So it doesn't matter how good the defense is. Rams offense is incapable of scoring 4 touchdowns.
Right.
But the defense can, because they are the number 1 scoring defense in the league.
No, they cannot against
the Rams. Yes, they can, dude. No.
He's thrown 4 interceptions all year. I don't think that they're going to be picking him off and running him back.
Don't try to change my mind. I'm going with the Rams.
You're going Rams no matter what.
All right.
You're going to go forward with it.
You're just a contrarian.
No, I mean, hey, I'm not the one that went with Baltimore in the last pick, Mikey. Oh, I mean, that's a much closer game, obviously, but all right.
I
So
just picked
how
Baltimore,
about?
so you would, because if I didn't pick Baltimore, I knew you were going to pick
That's
Baltimore.
right.
No, I will not pick Baltimore. Fuck Baltimore. I will lose if they win. I don't care. I'm not picking Baltimore. Fuck them. What about Cleveland and Kansas City?
Chiefs.
Kansas City.
We know who you're picking.
No. Yeah, you know what? I am picking the Browns, man. I am. I really wish it. I really wish it was Baltimore and Cleveland, to be honest with you, but two wild cards don't work out that way.
Well, if they work out, no, I guess never mind. It might be when it's all said and done. If it's Baltimore and Cleveland, the AFC Championship, who are you picking?
Oh, I'm picking Cleveland definitely at that point.
God, wouldn't it be awesome?
That would be awesome. But I'm telling you right now, if Cleveland would put Baltimore out because Cleveland has a defense to take care of Lamar Jackson.
Shit, that game they played, that fucking 50
Right
to 47 last couple weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago.
No, I don't care because Cleveland had players out.
Was that
their defense is on fire right now, man.
It is. I agree.
They got the best defensive lineman, in my opinion, in the NFL besides the Rams.
Yeah.
That's why I'm picking those two teams, man. They've got the best defense going right now.
Definitely got the best pass rush.
Yes,
Chiefs,
but
though.
I know, man.
It's a lot.
Chiefs got so much. I can't go with Cleveland. Damn it.
I don't know, man.
I talked him out of it.
You can't. I mean, we can't look at. I mean, Cleveland, dude. Look at their running back core. I would take that over the Chiefs' running back core any day of the week.
Yeah. Saying that, I mean, if it's almost like the Baltimore pick that I made. I'm not going to pick Cleveland. I think Kansas City is too overstocked. But if Cleveland wanted to be this ground and pound, hold the ball, make sure and get touchdowns to finish these long drives and keep Kansas City off the field, they really are waiting for Kansas City to make one or two mistakes or go 3 and out a couple times, and they could pull one of these old school Bill Parcells type wins, man. It's there.
They've got the running backs to do it. It's just we'll see if they can, and they've got the defense. I mean, if those things, I agree with that 100%, Mike. I mean, I think that if they could do that, it would be a statement. It would be astonishing. It's not unlikely, but I still have to go for the Chiefs.
Yep.
I mean, I understand you go for the Chiefs, absolutely, but look at how they handled their division opponents this year. They didn't win probably all those games combined by more than 10 points.
No, you're right, but
I mean, those were very close games, and they have not been as high scoring there towards the end of the season as they were before.
No, and I don't have an explanation for that other than that their running back core isn't as strong as it was in the years past.
Really?
Yeah.
Coming Kansas City?
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
it's good, but like when you had Kareem Hunt's a fucking monster, man, and that's the second string on Cleveland. I mean, come on. And Edwards Eclair Hare or whatever his name is, he started out like a little ball of fire, then he's disappeared. I don't even know what he's doing.
He got hurt. He got injured.
Okay.
But still, that counts.
And they got what Le'Veon,
like the water soap. Yeah, he's going to have 4 carries for 30 yards. I mean, that's about his. He hasn't done.
That's awfully generous. Jesus Christ.
Maybe a couple receptions for a couple dozen yards, but he has not been the firepower that I thought he might be able to be.
No. I mean, he may have had potential in Pittsburgh, but that potential went to shit fast. Yeah. He got hit too many times in New York.
It's called the Jets. Yeah, yep. Where potential goes to die.
Used to be like their hashtag or their slogan.
Where potential goes to die. That's great. All right, so Tampa Bay and the Saints.
Don't care if they win or lose. I'm going for them.
Yeah, my heart wants the Saints to win this game. I just can't. I want to throw up thinking about Tom Brady being this close to another NFC Championship game.
And this will be his first NFC Championship ever.
Yep.
Well, yeah, he's only had one shot at it.
His first. Man. If I get vomit in my mouth just thinking about him getting any closer to having another ring, man. No, thank you.
I know it. So,
Sorry, Miles, I'll put you down for Saints.
Yes.
Mike?
yeah, I'm going to do Saints.
All right.
I'm going to speak it into existence. It's
Yeah.
got to happen.
Dude, I already put on there my name for Tampa Bay. I didn't. I really thought somebody else would have picked. Because, dude, they were on fire this past week, man. And he's got weapons. Talk about weapons. We were talking about Kansas City having weapons. Jesus Christ.
Tampa Bay's got them, man.
Tampa Bay's got the weapons, man, and they got the defense to back it up.
I know, man. It's like Ronald Jones goes out. It's their starting running back, and they got who to come in? Leonard Fournette. These teams that have all these teams, all the 8 teams that are here, they really have a ton of depth, and that's kind of what's gotten them through. And the Rams, minus the quarterback situation, all of them are just 2 or 3 deep at these spots. And this is that type of season. You just had to have extra players to make it this far.
Green Bay just signed an offensive lineman from the Colts this week.
Yeah. Jason Valdir.
He's off the practice squad.
Wow.
Well, he was moved up from the practice squad or something like that. But anyway, the only way they were able to sign him or get him from the Colts is because he was technically on the practice squad.
He's not a right guard, is he?
But he started in the game this past week for the Colts. He was a starter, so that's pretty interesting.
He's the first player to start for 2 different teams in the same playoffs.
That's crazy.
Wow. Why did they do that? It's not. What is he? Is he a tackle?
Yes.
Okay.
By trade, he's a tackle. I think I think they played him at guard or something. The guy's like 6'9", like something crazy. I remember he used to play for the Raiders forever. But
really?
yeah, he's been around a long time.
All right, so we got our picks in, and one other thing I'd like to discuss, even if it's just very shortly. Old Peterson's out.
Nailed it. Dude, you are so funny. Last week, everything you called came true.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I was reading some stuff today, and then they said, going up to it, because there's a lot of speculation about him doing what he did in the game as far as sitting Jalen Hurts in the fourth quarter when they were only down by 3 points, that, the NFL was talking about, or I don't know if it was players or who, but somebody was trying to get NFL to penalize them for doing that.
That's not going to
How
happen.
can you possibly do that? How can you penalize a team for
throwing the game?
Technically, no. But he did throw the game.
Yeah.
Well, the gray area is there. It exists such to where he can hide behind a lot of things, and you can't nail him down. It's not like Spygate where the guys were, filming the other side. It's not like, where the Falcons were pumping in crowd noise, and those actually got significant penalties with draft picks and stuff. The bar is kind of there where you have to have something to be able to prove it. If you can't prove it, a few years ago, I might have already mentioned this before. So if so, I'm sorry. But a few years ago, the year before Jameis Winston came out, the last game of the season was New Orleans and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay was up by like 10, 13 points or something. They started the second half and pulled their starters ahead and allowed New Orleans to come back and beat them on purpose so they could get the number 1 draft pick. And but you couldn't really prove it. It's the last game of the season. People sit starters all the time. So a coach could say, well, you're going to let them do it, but we can't do it. What? We can't do it because there's something, something on the line for another team. It's such a big thing.
And, the team that I remember doing that the most, which is why the NFL pretty much changed the scheduling the way they did, was the fucking Colts.
Yes. Tony Dungy was bad.
Oh, dude. They would start resting players with like 3 or 4 games to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. One year they were 14-0, and they rested starters in the 15th game and lost.
Yep.
Yep. I hated that shit, man. It drove me crazy.
It drove everybody crazy. Drove a lot of people crazy, which is why the NFL changed the scheduling to put most of your, the first half of the, which I think it should be this way. The first half of the season should be your divisional games, and then the other 3 should be at the very end. But hell, we played. I don't understand how we play Texas one week, play someone else, and then play Texas again. I don't understand that kind of scheduling. That doesn't make any damn sense to me.
There's a lot of that. I don't get it either.
Why can't your first 3 games of the season be against your divisional opponents, and then your last 3 games of the season be against your divisional opponents? That seems like that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, that's such a simple solution, and I mean, you got to play them. Why wouldn't it? That actually should be the way that it should be.
Yes.
Oh, well, you would think. I'm making the call.
Do it.
I'm gonna call my sources. We'll put in the word. Let's get this happen.
I like
this happen.
You think about it too. I mean, it's almost like you're guaranteeing like playoff style games at the end of the year, because everybody plays 3 divisional games at the end of the year, and they're all jockeying for position, and the tiebreaker is your divisional record. Then, I mean, in essence, you have win or go home games for 3 weeks straight.
Yeah, great. Why has no one said this before? It's got to be a money thing.
Everything Adam says, it's coming true, man. It's a great idea.
You're like, we're down here in this podcast, and you're like just elevating, man. Like, hey, can we come?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I appreciate that. Anyways, all right, well, cool. Anything else y'all want to talk about?
I'll say one thing about that college game. Did you see that fucking hit on that tight end?
Or was it in the first half?
Hit? Yeah, it was like in the first half.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it.
His head went like all kind of. It was bad. I couldn't believe he got up.
I don't think they should be calling that targeting. That's not targeting to me, dude.
Crown came down.
Huh?
The crown of the helmet came down.
That's not targeting. They need to change the definition. I'm not saying that it's not wrong. I'm definitely not excusing it, but the actual verbiage, targeting is, that's different. No, you're intentionally trying to hurt someone whether they have the ball or not. That's targeting.
That isn't in the definition. No, putting your head down like that considered trying to hurt someone, because that's not how they teach you to tackle any longer. They teach you to keep your head up at all times.
I reckon, but it just seems like, they should just call it something else. I don't disagree with the penalty. I do disagree with them kicking players out of the game for it. It should be like an NBA thing, man, where it's flagrant 1, flagrant 2 type shit.
Yes, I agree.
Make the decision, were they really intentionally doing it? Because, dude, if you watch that play, he did lower his helmet, but not because he was going for dude's helmet. He was lowering his helmet to get, brace for impact himself.
Yes, and a lot of the times the person delivering it gets hurt just as hurt as the person receiving it.
That happened not too long ago to a Pittsburgh defender.
Yeah.
And he got paralyzed, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, Shazier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he ended up, it was just temporary, wasn't it?
He isn't like full. I don't know that he's like come around altogether. I think he's.
No, but he has walked.
Yes.
No, they got to do what they got to do to get it out of the game. Because you have these like really heartbreaking injuries every year with these guys, spinal cords and stuff. For a penalty, for people to get pissed off by getting kicked out of a game, it's kind of smaller potatoes. I do agree that they should get rid of the ejection. It needs to be like a 15, 20-yard penalty.
Yes.
Yeah, and I have no problem. I have no problem with it. I don't take an issue with it being a penalty at all. It absolutely should be. I'm not trying to belittle with the injuries or the harm that it does to both sides as far as that goes. But the ejection part, especially it happened in the semifinals of the college playoffs.
The Clemson game. The Clemson game. I actually know the kid that got kicked out of that Clemson game, Skowski. His dad actually worked at my company for a couple of months a while back, and I knew of him and everything, so I don't like have a personal relationship with him. But I started really thinking about it when that happened. I'm thinking like, man, that's like got to be a hell of a way to end your college career. Like the last play you made, you get kicked out. These aren't like adults in the NFL. These are technically adults, but they're college kids. Yeah. And, that's stuff that they're going to ride with for the rest of their lives. They don't get a chance to come back and fix that next season. So I totally disagree with that ejection.
And neither one of them really looked like it was with malice in mind. It looked like a football move, even though it was incorrect. It was still, it didn't look like, you're right. It was a mistake. Whereas
it was a genuine mistake. It wasn't like, I'm going to go hurt this guy.
Right.
I'm going to go, New Orleans Saints bounty on his ass. Exactly. That's not what happened.
No.
So.
Fuck Alabama.
Yep. Yep. I feel about Alabama as I did the Patriots.
Yep. Tired of it.
Or Steelers or the Ravens. You know, I hate all three.
If they want, I don't think the Alabama curse will be fixed until they go to like an 18 playoff scenario, and then maybe they can, you know. But hell, here we are at 4 teams, and that hasn't helped anything. So maybe maybe I'm wrong.
They didn't win it last year, did they?
Yeah, but it's like I think they've won 6 out of the past 9 or something like that, or 10.
Yeah, it's like almost every other year.
Yes.
Yeah. And they're always in the talk regardless.
Yes.
But, I mean, you know, it was funny because I was watching some sports show the other day and they were talking about this is Alabama getting boring watching them win every year?
It is. Because I can't preach this enough, man. You will not see an offensive line like you do at Alabama on any other football team in college. You just won't.
No, you're right.
They are ready to go out of the NFL from the moment they get off they're ready. They're huge.
Yeah.
And they're athletic.
It's one of the reasons why I don't watch a lot of college football. I mean, I'll watch some of the big games sometimes, but what's really turned me off, what's really kind of attached me more to the NFL than to college is because the NFL has parity where everybody gets a shot every year at some point, and if you don't make it, it's on you and what you do. College is like, I mean, once you really kind of start getting a lot of clout and win that first championship, and you start being able to recruit all those players away, I mean, all the chips just keep stacking up. It's like playing poker against somebody who's got all the chips on their side of the table. Eventually, you're going to lose. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
So they got to fix that. They got to put something in place that makes the playing field a little more even. And then that way, you know, I mean, if you're still winning, no matter how well you're able to recruit or no matter how you did last season or the season before that, you know, like then I'll start watching again. Exactly.
Really, dude?
Yes.
Fuck Alabama.
Tom feels the same way. He's hungry. He just wants food.
Sounded like a baby.
No, it's his fucking cat. He does this every time. Look at him. He's trying to paw me in the face. But anyways. Well, all right, guys. We'll talk to y'all next week.
All right.
Watch the games. Y'all take it easy.
Bye-bye.
See you later.